apologies for last week. Well, I wanted to do 2 podcasts, but the tropical storm Nicholas came through last week, and I honestly could have podcasted. I didn't want to risk it though, but it honestly was more of a rainstorm than anything else. But like I had the whole day off, but I just didn't know whether or not power would go out. You never know.
Did it ever go out?
No. Woke up, power was on, stayed on the whole day, and I wrapped up the West Wing while I had the day off from work. So the school shut down and they said, don't work tomorrow, and I stayed home and watched West Wing all day and finished it. So
that's honestly nice. That's very nice.
It's not so bad. So what's going on?
Not much, man. Working, going to Nashville tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Nashville. What are you doing in Nashville? Just hanging out?
It's just one of my buddies from college. You actually don't know him, but it's one of my buddies from college birthday. So me and my coworker are going. It's going to be probably 10 of us or so. I'm coming back Sunday morning. I'm only going pretty much Saturday. I'll be there Friday night, Saturday, leaving Sunday morning.
Nashville's fun. Where are you staying?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh, that's already taken care of. I just don't know.
I guess you're just crashing on the floor.
No, I got a bed and stuff. I don't remember what the hotel's called.
Well, do you know where you're staying, though, in Nashville? Like, the area?
No, I don't.
You don't? Downtown?
I don't even know what Nashville looks like, dude. I have no idea what Never been.
Well, I mean, I have, because I live there.
Yeah, true.
I love Nashville. I would have been happy staying there.
I've only heard good things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a party scene. Like, if you want, I'm trying to think. Like, if you want Vegas, like, without the Vegas, go to Nashville. That's the best way I can describe it. A lot of bachelorette parties in Nashville.
Vegas without the casinos, basically?
Kinda. You know, it's a southern Vegas. Mm-hmm. You know, you do have that honky-tonk scene downtown.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm hyped.
I only went downtown a handful of times. 2 times was to watch the Predators play hockey. So.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they're all, because they're going to stay, a lot of them are staying through Tuesday. They're going to the Titans game Sunday against the Colts.
Oh, yeah? I hope you enjoy it. Broadway. Broadway is the main street there in Nashville.
Yeah. A bunch of the kids that I'm going with have been before, so I'm sure they'll, show me the ropes. So we'll see.
It's that feels like when I went with my buddies on a bachelor party to New Orleans. I'd never been, but everyone else had, so I was just tagging along.
Can you gamble in Tennessee? Sports gambling?
I don't know. I don't know of any casinos that I don't think so. You probably can. But I don't know where you would go. I'm not a gambler.
Well, I would just do it on an app on my phone if it's legal there.
I don't know. Depends on where you go.
It's legal pretty much every state around.
Yeah, I think it's every state, but maybe Alabama.
No, Maryland isn't yet. It's legal.
Really?
They haven't actually set up hasn't officially started yet. You know, when they pass a law, it takes a year to go into place. But PA, Delaware, New York, Virginia, all those you can sports gamble. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't even think. Actually, now that you mention it, I'm not sure Texas does. They might.
No, Texas is usually behind on a lot of those things.
Most southern states are.
Eventually, everyone will do it. I mean, within the next 10 years, it's just a moneymaker. It's an extra revenue.
Well, someone, I think it was LSU, signed a big deal with, I think, Caesars Sportsbook or whatever they call that. And so, yeah, I mean, other teams are going to start, or other schools are going to start doing it. You're going to see more and more, the NFL is going to have, I'm not sure if they do or not, they might have a deal with one of those companies, but they're going to take over eventually.
Oh, 100%. It's a huge moneymaker. It's a billion-dollar industry,
So we've missed out on week 1, and I really did want to talk Green Bay. I wasn't just avoiding it. But some surprises in week 1, obviously. Let's go to week 2 now. A lot of teams are 2-0. Some teams are 0-2. Are there any 2-0 teams you think won't be in the mix? Any 0-2 teams you think will be in the mix come later in the season?
a 2-0 team that I don't think will be in the mix is the Broncos.
Yeah, they have to have the easiest schedule to start the season.
I was going to say, I do think that they are a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're bad or anything, but they have, beat up and padded their stats on two really, really bad teams.
And they get Jacksonville this week.
Yeah, and then they just lost Bradley Chubb, too.
I'm sorry. They got Jacksonville last week. They get the Jets this week.
Yes, exactly. So they're going to be 3-0. It's going to be inflated. So I think that they're going to end up being like maybe an 8 or 9 win team. I mean, if they go 3-0, they're probably going to win 9 games realistically.
Right.
Maybe 10. So I could be wrong about that, but that would be my pick there. And an 0-2 team that I think can still.
The only one I can think of is Indianapolis. Maybe Minnesota, but even I think they have flaws. But Indianapolis.
I'm actually going to go Minnesota.
Okay.
There. I honestly, I wouldn't even pick them unless you brought that up. But that's good. I mean, I was on the Vikings.
You were. You talked me into them. I wasn't. I forget who my wild cards were.
It's a long season, man. It's a really long season.
2 of my wild cards I ended up sticking with. It was either the Rams and I think it was the Seahawks, and then I picked the Seahawks to win the division, and then chose the Rams to be a wild card, and then the 49ers, and I think my third wild card was I think it was the Cardinals. And you talked me into the Vikings. You were like, dude, the Vikings are so good. I was like, damn it, you're right.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I could see them rattling off like 5 or 6 wins in a row.
They could. I mean, they already got 2 of their 9 road games out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So they still got 8 road games. I'm sorry, 8 home games. They could easily be okay. I just worry about their defense.
No, same.
So let's get into some picks. Let's start with college football. Like I texted you earlier today, not a great weekend, but there are some matchups here that could create some separation. Are you a legit team or are you just a good team?
Loser leaves town game.
Yeah, loser leaves town game, exactly. First up, actually I want to make that last because that's game of the week. LSU at Mississippi State. LSU only a 2.5-point favorite right now.
At Mississippi State?
Starkville.
I'll go the Bulldogs.
God, I'm honestly still a little on the fence. I didn't finish all of my picks this week week yet.
It's not that impressed with LSU this year.
Yeah.
They kind of beat up on them.
They did. And Mississippi State is coming off a loss to Memphis. Though if you follow Brandon Walker from Barstool on Twitter, it was kind of a bullshit game. I think a bad call was made at the end of the game that led Memphis to win.
And Memphis isn't like a terrible program.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But also, I want to keep in mind that Mississippi State went into Baton Rouge last year and dominated LSU. I think that's going to be on their minds this week. So I'll go LSU, but I'm not super confident in it.
I like disagreeing. So good.
What other? Oh, Texas Tech at Texas. If this game was in Lubbock, I'd strongly consider the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I'll go Texas.
Yeah, Texas 9-point favorite.
How much?
9.
What?
Yeah. I think that's going to be a very underrated game, but I'll go Longhorns. But again, I'm not really I'm not confident really in many of my picks this week.
Yeah. Ever, honestly, I'm not very confident in any of them.
Well, this is just a weird college football year. Usually, it's been very about 20 teams are just dominant, and even more so for 4 or 5. Yeah. This year, though, I really think the talent is kind of spread out, the most it's been in a while. So we'll see. All right. Very underrated game here, I think. Number 7, Texas A&M at number 16, Arkansas. Oh, I'm sorry, not at Arkansas. It's at a neutral site in Dallas. A&M is a 4.5-point favorite right now.
Yeah, I'll go A&M.
I told you I had some upsets. This is one of them. I'm going with the Razor. I'm going with the Hogs. So Arkansas runs the ball very, very well. A&M has played 3 mediocre to bad teams, and Kent State, Colorado, and I can't remember the third, gave up a lot of yards on the ground. Arkansas ran the ball at will against Texas. I think they will do the same against A&M. They have an identity. They're going to stick to it. I like the Razorbacks to get it done. All right, number 9, Clemson at NC State. Clemson right now is a 10-point favorite which is very surprising.
I would take NC State with the points, but I'll take Clemson to win.
I'm tempted to pick NC State just because Clemson has not looked good.
No.
Offensively, they're bad offensively. But NC State lost to Mississippi State. And they got old West Virginia defensive coordinator Tony Gibson down there as defensive coordinator. I don't know. If there's a week to get it right, it's against Tony Gibson's defense, though. I love Gibby. I'll go Clemson. But again, I'm not super confident in that.
No, I mean,
That's tough. Really,
they shouldn't get 10. They shouldn't have 10 points. I can tell you that.
I agree. I do think NC State will keep it within the spread. Number 14, Iowa State at Baylor. Iowa State right now is a 7-point favorite. I like the Cyclones. I don't know much at all about Baylor. They struggled against, I think, Texas State in week 1. I know they're not much of an offensive team. They haven't been really the last 2 years. So I'll go Cyclones here.
I'll go Cyclones as well.
Rutgers at Michigan. Number 19, Michigan. Michigan right now a 21-point favorite. Big number.
I'll obviously take Michigan there, but I didn't know Michigan was as dominant on the ground as you were telling me earlier today. It's
through 3 games, 350 rushing yards per game. They have an identity and they stick to it. Something tells me to not completely discount. I'm not saying Rutgers might win this game, but might keep it within 21. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like Greg Schiano. That's a big number. He usually embraces that underdog role.
I'd never be surprised if any team kept it within 21 on any team. So, agreed.
But I'll go Wolverines. That I think the Wolverines might be legit this year.
Awesome.
Number 24, UCLA at Stanford.
UCLA all day.
UCLA lost last week to Fresno State. I think it was Fresno State.
Damn, did they really?
Yes. I didn't even watch it. I went to bed.
Damn, I didn't know that.
I don't know. UCLA is a 4.5-point favorite right now.
I'm still taking UCLA though.
I don't know.
Stanford's not very good, man.
Yeah, and they did beat USC, which is kind of affecting my decision making here. But I know USC is not that good either.
No, they're not.
So yeah, I guess I'll go UCLA, but I don't like it. Nebraska at number 20, Michigan State. Michigan State right now only a 5-point favorite at home. So Vegas must like Nebraska's performance last week against Oklahoma, but I like Michigan State here. They've come out firing on all cylinders through 3 games. I'll go Spartans.
Spartans as well.
Here's another one. I could go either way. Number 25, Kansas State with a backup quarterback on the road to Oklahoma State, which has not looked good through 3 games. Oklahoma State right now is a 6-point favorite.
Just because they have a backup, I'll go Okie State.
I'm telling you, Oklahoma State does not look good. They've struggled against Missouri State, Tulsa, and Boise State. Granted, Boise State's a little more respectable, but offensively, they're bad too. I'll go with the kind of upset and take Kansas State.
I like that.
I'm just not a believer in Oklahoma State right now.
I like that.
What else we got? All right, our game, West Virginia at number 4, Oklahoma. I'm really surprised at this line. I know that they've had our number the last decade, it seems, but Oklahoma is a 17-point favorite right now. I like us to keep it within that number.
I agree, but I don't see us winning this game.
No, I don't either.
But the thing is, and I was talking to I don't know if I talked to you about this, like Spencer Rattler plays like a type of football where he can like beat you by 40, or you can like actually beat him when you have a worse team because he might throw a lot of picks. So they're just going to have to try to turn.
Something has to give here. Spencer Rattler's turnover prone. West Virginia's defense, while it's been pretty good through 3 games, hasn't forced many turnovers. So something's got to give in the turnover department. Oklahoma also is without 2 defensive starters, one of them being a key defensive lineman. Very good, and they already struggled to stop the run if you exclude sacks. So Letty Brown could have a big game. And if Letty Brown has a big game, we're going to be in
Letty
it.
Brown should always have a big game. He's like our only good player on the whole offense.
If we had a better quarterback, I would probably take us to win because Oklahoma's offense is not nearly as dominant as people think this year. But I'll go Sooners, but I think we'll keep it within 17.
I agree.
I can't be all of our games. I should have written this down first. Hang on.
What's the game of the week?
Well, the game of the week is Notre Dame, Wisconsin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, Kentucky, South Carolina. Kentucky at South Carolina. Kentucky is -5.
I go Kentucky.
South Carolina's building a program, but now I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. All right, we're at 12. All right, game of the week. Wisconsin, Notre Dame, in Chicago. This is another line that I'm shocked by. Wisconsin is -6.5.
I can't take Notre Dame as much as I want to. I honestly think they might even be the better team, but I'm going to go Wisconsin.
I'm going Wisconsin too. I'm not confident in it.
No, not at all. Like I said, I actually think Notre Dame is probably the more talented team, but I just feel like they just never perform when it's time to perform.
Yeah, I'm not picking Notre Dame. They have not looked good through 3 games. They struggled against
they struggled pretty
Florida
much
State. They struggled with Toledo. They did beat Purdue, which I did pick Purdue to win. But they struggled even with Purdue. So even though the scoreboard doesn't really show it, I'm going to go Wisconsin. They run the ball very well, Notre Dame. It's a theme with a lot of my picks this week. Notre Dame struggles to stop the run. So I'm going Badgers. I know Paul Chryst loves to run the ball. So you took, I didn't write them down. I should have written them down. You took Texas over Texas Tech. You took Texas A&M over Arkansas. I have the opposite. You took Clemson over NC State. Iowa State over Baylor.
What was our 2 differences? I think we had 2 differences.
No, you took Mississippi State over LSU.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's right.
Those were the only 2 differences.
Yeah. Okay, so I can go from there. NFL. I did pick all my games last night. I'm very curious to see who you have. So we're starting with tonight. We're recording this on Thursday evening. Actually, the game is about to come on here in a little bit, if it's not already. Carolina at Houston. Carolina right now a 8-point favorite. I went with Carolina.
I'm definitely going to go Carolina.
Yeah, Dave.
And I like them to cover too. I think that this Texans thing is gonna stop pretty soon, and the talent.
Well, I mean, they beat Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's a mess right now. They did hang in there a little bit with Cleveland, but Cleveland's banged up. I know OBJ hasn't played much at all. So I agree. I think the wheels are going to fall off Houston a little bit. Tyrod Taylor's been put on injury reserve. They got a rookie starting at quarterback.
Yeah,
Carolina should win this game going away. I'm a big fan of Carolina right now.
I'm thinking it's going to be 27-10.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's going to be a pretty lopsided game.
Underrated game here. Washington at Buffalo. Right now, Buffalo is -7.5.
Buffalo's going to kick their ass, man. Last week they got right. I think they just needed a little kick in the teeth. I think teams that have really high expectations going into the season sometimes, and I think this might even happen to the Packers a little bit. All right, we just got to get ready for the play. Nah, dude, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
I want to address Green Bay. Green Bay in that New Orleans game looked like a team that had read its own press clippings all offseason.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
And New Orleans, since Drew Brees retired, has heard nothing but they're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same without Drew Brees. And they lost some other pieces. And Sean Payton had them fired up and ready to go. So that's basically it. I didn't walk away from that game thinking I did walk away. Maybe New Orleans is better than I thought, but I thought Green Bay, I think, is going to be fine.
No, I thought the same thing. I just thought it was one of those things where they just,
It's the NFL. You could not show up against Houston and lose.
And get your ass kicked.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think that's honestly what happened. But back to Buffalo, Washington. Washington's not – first of all, I never thought Washington was going to be as good as other people, and then I don't even think Washington's as good as even I thought they were going to be. I think Washington might end up being like a pretty bad team, especially with Heineke playing. The Bills are elite. They kick the shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Granted, Tua left early, but still, a shutout on the road is very rare in the NFL.
You know what I mean? It's not like Miami has a terrible roster that can shoot 0 points.
That's what I'm saying. A road shutout in the NFL rarely happens. I don't care who's at quarterback.
So,
and you score 35 on a good defense.
I think they're going to kick their butt. I think it's going to be Bills big.
I'm going Bills too. I probably like them to cover as well. Taylor Heineke, I like him. I think he's just good enough to keep you above water. Like if you're late in the season and Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt, but it's week 3, and he's asking to be placed into the starting lineup. That's just a hard ask.
I agree.
Chicago at Cleveland. I am very interested in this because Justin Fields making his first career start. Cleveland right now, though, is -7.5.
I do think the Bears will cover, but Cleveland's definitely going to win. Definitely going to win.
I don't want to say I'm tempted to take the Bears. I think they'll be better with Fields, though, as the starter. I think he'll give them some energy that Andy Dalton just lacked. But Cleveland should win. I think their D-line is going to dominate Chicago's offensive line, which is not very good to begin with. So I like Cleveland to win, but I do like Chicago to cover that spread. Baltimore at Detroit. Baltimore right now is an 8.5 point favorite. Detroit, I mean, they at least show some fight. I know they're not very good, but they show some fight.
Listen, dude, Jared Goff isn't great, but he's not like he's so bad. Like, Jared Goff can throw a football.
I said that when they when they traded for him. I said, if you're trying to tank, I'm not sure Goff is your guy.
Yeah, dude, he's a good bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, he's a starting quarterback. He's not a backup in the NFL.
I'm not even sure he's he kind of is a bridge guy, but he's better, like far above, I think, than every other bridge quarterback.
For the Lions, he is. I don't mean in general.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, he would be like the highest end backup of all time if he went and was a backup somewhere. Like he's a starter, and Detroit isn't like they got a couple players. I don't know. Like
I'll say this: their O-line impressed me.
Yeah, same.
Penei Sewell rebounded after a bad preseason, and they're still without Taylor Decker. O-line is still pretty good. Goff can sling it when he wants to. They do have some playmakers offensively: DeAndre Swift, T.J. Hawkinson, Quintez. What is that his name? Quintez Cephas. He's all right too.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, I like Baltimore to win. I don't know about cover, but I like Baltimore to win.
I think they'll cover.
All right, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Tennessee is a 5-point favorite right now. This is close. If Carson Wentz wasn't hurt, I'd strongly consider Indianapolis.
I would too, but I'm going to go Tennessee, and I still think I'd take Tennessee even if Carson was playing, and he still might play, but
yeah. Well, even regardless if he plays, he's banged up.
Yeah, he is banged up.
I went Tennessee too. Indianapolis, while I like their defense, has struggled to stop the run too. I think Derrick Henry's going to eat. I'll go Titans. Chargers Chiefs. Chargers at Chiefs. Chiefs are -7. This is a game that I usually, when the Chiefs are playing, unless it's a really good contending team, I just pencil in Chiefs usually. This one I actually had to think about.
I was about to say that. I just called. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But
it was like Chiefs. Oh, wait a minute.
That's going to be a good game.
I agree. I think the Chargers match up pretty well. Kansas City's offensive line is still kind of shuffling guys. I mean, 5 new faces, that's going to happen. But Herbert hasn't played. I think they'll figure it out. Don't get me wrong, but Herbert hasn't played all that well. Offense that hasn't been that good. Chiefs should win this game.
I agree.
This game is a coin flip, in my opinion. New Orleans at New England. New England right now is 3-point favorite.
I think on a neutral field, it would be a coin flip. But in New England, Bill Belichick's going to fuck with Jameis pretty bad. Like, I don't expect Jameis to have a good game. I'll put it that way.
He might be. I mean, he can only go up from last week.
I agree, but
I agree. Like, is he going to be Green Bay? No. Is he going to be last week? No. He'll be somewhere in the middle. Overall, probably not a great game from him. This is also the third game, at least 3 weeks in a row, they've been away from New Orleans since the hurricane.
Yeah.
Probably longer since the hurricane.
Yeah.
That's going to have an effect on them eventually.
Of course.
You kind of saw it last week, I thought. Yep. So I'm going to go New England too. I think Belichick's going to dial up or a nice game plan to, as you say, fuck with Jameis Winston. I'm very curious about this next pick of yours. Atlanta at New York Giants. Giants are a 3-point favorite right now. I had to really think about this one.
That's a really bad game, man. I would have just took the home team in this game.
Oh, I'm the true Giants hater, I guess. I went with the Falcons.
I mean, dude, I would have, if it was in Atlanta, 100% chance I would have took Atlanta. 100%.
Well, I mean, Atlanta's offense, I think, is going to get together at some point, and you saw it a little bit last week, I thought.
But I also think the Giants' defense isn't, like, egregiously bad either.
No, I know. But the Giants' offense, I think, will be able to score on Atlanta's defense, so it's going to, I think, be a shootout. A little bit. Mm-hmm. And if it's a shootout, I'm going to go quarterback here, and I'm going to go Matt Ryan.
Not a bad pick.
Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh right now is a 3-point favorite. I picked Pittsburgh, but I'm having regrets. I'll be honest.
Hurt.
Yeah.
That is... Holy shit, I want to go Bengals so bad, but I'm not going to do it.
I went Bengals last week, and they let me down.
Yeah, I'll go Steelers.
Shit, I'm not keeping track. I forgot again.
You'll remember my picks. Most of them are the same.
You went... All right, hang on. Panthers, Texans. I'm just going to write Panthers. You went Bills... No, hang on, not Ravens. Well, you did go Ravens, but Browns, Ravens. You went Titans, Chiefs, and then Patriots, Giants, Steelers. All right, we're caught up. All right, back at it. Arizona at Jacksonville. Arizona right now is a 7.5-point favorite. I gotta be honest. I gotta keep going with Arizona.
I'm gonna go Arizona. Let's hear your reasoning.
I mean, Jacksonville's just not that good.
Oh, they're playing Jacksonville?
Yeah. Who do you think I said?
Sorry. Never mind. Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals. No explanation needed. Sorry.
Yeah. I gotta see it from Jacksonville. I mean, it did look bad.
They're worse than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they really are. And Trevor Lawrence has been bad, and no one's really talking about it, I feel like.
Well, it's the Jaguars. That's why. It's the most irrelevant team. Nobody gives a shit.
I saw someone tweet a while back. It was like, what's a team that just does not, like, interest you to watch, basically?
The Sacramento Kings.
Well, they meant NFL, exclusively NFL.
Oh, of course. I mean, of course it wasn't the Jaguars a few years back. It was the fucking...
I said the Detroit Lions. The Lions do nothing for me.
It's the Lions now, especially now that Stafford's gone.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, so Jets, Broncos, like the Cardinals. I'm not high on this team, but I gotta keep rolling with the Broncos. I think the Jets will get it right enough eventually.
I mean, they'll win a few games this year, and Zach.
They're banged up, young quarterback. I mean, Zach Wilson looked bad last week, from what I've heard.
He had 4 picks.
Yeah. For real. Dolphins at Raiders.
Ooh. Tua's hurt though.
Tua's out. Raiders right now are -4. Still, that's not very convincing.
Let's go Raiders. I like it. Raiders 3-0, baby.
I went with the Raiders too. Yeah, if Tua was playing, I think I'd really have to think about this game. But this is what I mean. John Gruden always seems to exceed my expectations. Not by a lot, but we're 2-0 already with the Raiders. I thought they'd be 0-2 at this point.
No, same. Because they beat, like you said, they beat two really, really, really good teams, in my opinion.
And I had them at 0-2 and still winning about 7 games. They're 2-0, and if they win those 7, then I think they could.
This might be the year they get it. I did not think they were even going to come in second in that division. I can tell you that right now. And it looks like they might now because the Chargers.
I'll hold off because I've seen this before from John Gruden, and come November and December, his teams always trail off.
And Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Good point.
Seahawks at Vikings. Seahawks right now -1.5. Very interesting game.
Dalvin Cook is like banged up right now, or I swear I'd take the Vikings, but I'll go Hawks.
Ooh. All right, so we're different there. I went Vikings. I'm going to keep rolling with the Vikings.
Man, that's a big deal.
What?
Not for my fantasy team either. I said Dalvin Cook's banged up. That's a big deal.
The Vikings are too well coached and too talented to go 0-3. They have to show up in the home opener this week.
And I think they will. I think they will. That's a good game.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Packers at 49ers. 49ers -3 right now.
That's going to be a good game, but I do think the Packers will get them this time.
You're going Packers?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even go Packers. Wow. I like it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, I watched the Eagles play. I watched the Niners last week. I do think they're good, but they're not that good.
Well, so here's the thing, is the 49ers, Rams, Packers run the same offense. And it's very, I don't know about run first, but it's predicated on the run. Everything in the passing game is determined by how effectively you're running the ball. And the 49ers right now, all their running backs are hurt. One is out for the year. Raheem Mostert, yeah, I couldn't think of his last name. I'm sure probably one of those running backs is going to play, maybe 2 or all 3, I don't know. But they're all banged up. I mean, if they can't run the ball, I don't think Garoppolo is going to be good enough to lead this team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then Green Bay, I know San Francisco has a good defense, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers should be able to get 20.
I agree, man. But holy shit, that defense is better than I even thought it was going to be. I can tell you that because the D-line obviously was dominant. They have 3 really, really good players on the D-line, but
what worries me about this game is Elton Jenkins, Green Bay's left tackle, in replace of Bakhtiari, is banged up, missed practice this week. I'm very concerned. And then obviously I have my concerns defensively. I'm going 49ers. I just don't see Green Bay winning.
I do.
Well, I don't know about if I don't see them. I think it's just a tough matchup for them.
Yeah, that I agree with.
All right, your game, Monday Night Football, Philly at Dallas. Dallas is a 3.5-point favorite.
It's just a bad spot for Philly, man. I don't see them winning, unfortunately.
Really?
I do think it'll obviously be a good game. I don't think Dallas is – I do think they're better than Philly. I don't think they're that much better than Philly. But Philly the last, 4 years has played very bad at Jerry World. This is big time for Nick Sirianni. I hope he rises to the occasion. I have faith in Jalen. I think it'll be really close. I do think Philly will cover. I think it'll be a 3-point game. Honestly, I think the team that has the ball last will probably win the game. I'll go Dallas.
So I'm glad you brought up Philly's struggles in Jerry World.
Yeah. Because
I have a retort. New coaching staff.
True. Very true. No, and honestly, those things don't matter. You know what I mean? That has no predication on this game whatsoever.
I said that before. So the reason New Orleans decided to play Green Bay and Jacksonville is because of Aaron Rodgers' struggles in Florida. And I said, that's no big deal. That's not every game's different. That doesn't mean a thing. And he goes out there and sucks ass.
Yeah.
But I agree 100%. You don't play bad in one place, just because it's that place.
Exactly.
Every game's different. But I went the opposite here. I think it's funny that we're going with each other's teams. I'm going with the Eagles. I think Dallas is kind of feeling themselves. Yeah. Hung in there with Tampa, beat a good Chargers team on the road. I'm tempted to pick them because it's the home opener. I think they'll be fired up for that crowd, but I could see this team getting ego about them and kind of overlooking the Eagles.
I don't get it. Like, so everyone's like talks about their performance against like, dude, they lost the game. They got four turnovers.
No, I agree. Yeah,
and really didn't force any of them. They were all kind of just like lucky ass turnovers.
But so I wanted to talk about that game last week because I said in the preseason, the reason why I wasn't crazy about Tampa this year was because it wasn't New England. I think a lot of guys could. Like, we're the champs, let's take a step back. It wasn't a factor like New England was. And you saw that in week 1. You know, mental mistakes, a ton of penalty yards, 4 turnovers. They were not, outside of Brady, they did not play well.
I mean, think about it. A couple less turnovers in that game is like a 20-point game.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I don't know. And listen, they did beat the Chargers last week, which was a good win. But, like.
We both picked them to win.
I mean, yeah, first of all, I thought they were going to win. But Justin Herbert threw a pick, like a really bad pick in the end zone with like 2 minutes left. Like, now you also have to give them credit for getting that pick, but like the Chargers really played well enough to win that game. So like they're 1-1. They could easily be 2-0 or 0-2. I think that they're going to be the same thing that they were the year before last, where I think they're going to win 9 or 10 games. Like that's just they're a good team. They're going to get bounced first round, almost guaranteed. And if they win the first round, they're definitely losing second round. Like, they're not going on any type of run with that defense. And to be honest with you, the offense isn't what it used to be. It's kind of all on Dak now. I got to give Dak credit for just shouldering that.
And what's amazing is they're paying Zeke $90 million, and he's not even the best running back on their team.
He's not even good anymore, man. But
Tony Pollard looks way – and I've always kind of heard, like, watch out for Tony Pollard.
Good,
and he really showed up. He's shown it this year, really.
Yeah, he looks good.
Last game of the week, Tampa at the Rams. Tampa right now is a 1-point favorite.
Is it bad I didn't know they were about to play? Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't feel like anyone's really talking about this game.
That's such a good game. Holy shit. That's the NFC Championship, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
It's who's home?
The Rams. Not that really matters in LA. I don't think the Rams are going to have much of a home field, but...
No. I'm going to go Bucs. Just because Matt Stafford might dice them up, though. That's going to be a good game. I'll go Bucs, but I do not feel good about it. The Rams could easily beat them by like a touchdown, and I wouldn't be surprised. Holy shit, that's a good game.
You know, Tampa's defense really hasn't been that impressive.
No, their offense has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Is that DJ Moore?
I want to make it clear. I went with Tampa too.
Okay.
In a game that really should be competitive and O-line, D-line combinations, both are pretty good. It's probably going to come down to coaching and quarterback. And do you really trust Stafford and McVay against Arians and Brady?
Yeah, I do. I honestly,
how about this? Do you trust Stafford to outscore Brady?
Yeah, I do.
Come on, I don't.
I'm going to tell you right now, whoever loses the turnover battle is losing the game.
Probably, yeah. That's a good point.
That's not like some fucking
that's fucking football. You lose the turnover battle, almost always you lose the game, especially in the NFL.
Cowboys.
Yeah, except the Cowboys and Green Bay in the NFC Championship.
That sounded very bitter, Shane.
I'm very bitter. You turn over, you win the turnover battle. I can't even talk. You win the turnover battle against Brady. Not only that, you pick him off 3 times, and you don't win the game.
Yeah. Well,
Rodgers wants to bitch about the front office. How about you and every other star on the team shows up?
Score some points.
Yeah, I'm sick of the shenanigans. Sometimes you just gotta look inward. And I've defended Aaron Rodgers all the time, but sometimes you just gotta look inward, dude.
I was an Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm still an Aaron Rodgers, the player fan, but dude, it's just just go fucking play, man. You're good. Dude, you're with a first-class organization. You're not gonna get it any better anywhere else. Maybe the weather's better somewhere else, but what are you bitching about, really? I still don't know. It's he fucking cried the whole offseason. I still don't know what the point of it was. What was his point?
The only thing I could gather is that he wants a seat at the table.
Draft and like personnel decisions, basically. Like that's it.
Look, I've said this before. I'm not a fan of quarterbacks making personnel decisions unless you're good at it. Like Brady, I think could step into a front office and be a GM tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rodgers, I don't think can do that.
I don't think he has the one, like he doesn't want to do that. Like that's not his passion, but I think he has like the knowledge. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is a football genius. I mean, he's at least on offense. I don't know if he could like pick defensive players and shit. I think
it's all about having an eye for talent. I mean,
I think that's what Brady's going to do. He's going to try to own a team or be a GM. I really do.
Is he?
Dude, I don't think he's going to be able to stay away from football. He's fucking nuts, bro. He's nuts.
I would love to see him in with Manning in the booth.
No way he does booth shit.
Well, maybe not in the booth. I'm sorry. Like do like the Fox morning show.
Yeah. Oh, dude, him and Peyton would be bold.
I would love to see them on like the CBS show because they're AFC guys.
Oh man, him and Peyton would be unreal.
Have you watched the Manning broadcast with Peyton and Eli?
It's good.
I loved it. Yeah, I love it. Monday against Green Bay was the first time I watched it.
Manning so much. Peyton Manning is like the player who got me in the football. Like honestly.
Brett Favre was mine.
So that makes sense.
All right. Do we have anything else to talk about?
Eagles shit the bed last week. Got to do better this week. Could have won that game.
San Francisco, I mean, good team. Philly's not there yet. I mean, I would be happy to just hang in there.
Defense looks awesome, though.
Defense looks good. Defense looks
awesome. They held Falcons to 6. Falcons ended up scoring 30-plus on the Bucs. They held the Niners to 17. Niners scored like 45 the week before. Like, I don't think they're an elite defense, but I do think they're going to end up being top 10 as long as injuries don't hit.
Is Jim Schwartz still there?
No. Got Jonathan Gannon. He's a monster.
Where's he from?
We actually play zone defense now, and like.
See, that's what drives me fucking nuts. Is Green Bay comes out in a zone defense when you got one of the best press corners in football in Jair Alexander.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Obviously, we don't have that. We do have a good press corner in Darius Slay, but he's not.
Like, come on, man. You got fucking Jair Alexander. Get him in some dude's face.
Yeah, I agree. Got to use.
Eric Stokes has looked good though.
Yes.
I mean, I know Detroit doesn't have great weapons, but he looked good on Monday night.
I mean, dude, it doesn't matter who the weapon is really if you're breaking up the pass.
Well, it's all about, I think, building confidence. They put him in training camp on Devontae Adams every single day. And I'm not blaming the media for it because obviously you want to watch how your first-round pick and the best receiver in the game play against each other. And they just kept saying all the time, Stokes gets burned, Stokes gets beat. And everyone was like, oh, so he's having a terrible camp. And the media would always be like, he's covering Devontae Adams, and he's a rookie. Yeah. What do you expect?
That's going to happen.
Like, yeah, sure, it'd be nice if you won every single time. You would have a gold mine for the, 29th pick. But that's not realistic. But I think he's the highest graded rookie corner on Pro Football Focus. So
I'm pretty sure he's has he even allowed any catches? He's been breaking shit
up. He gave up that touchdown against Detroit technically, but they counted it as a miscommunication. So, yeah. But I want to know what you think. I know I'm going longer than we said we would, but what do you think of the Big 12 adding BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF? Look,
I don't give a fuck if they're in there as long as West Virginia isn't in there, dude. I don't like. It's so dumb. It's so whack. Like,
look, I 100%. I don't want to say I'm 100% on your side, but we need to stay on this life raft as long as we can until we can jump ship somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree.
So I am 100% on board with adding those schools. Adding those schools, even without Texas and Oklahoma, according to some power index people, Big 12 is still better than Pac-12 and the ACC. Even without Texas and Oklahoma, with those four schools.
Cincinnati has been a great program. BYU is historically always
BYU is great. I mean, BYU is about like Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Not as historic, but big TV numbers, huge following, good program. I think definitely UCF and really Houston are sleeping giants. Definitely UCF, though. huge school.
Agreed.
Cincinnati's a school they're kind of taking a chance on.
Yeah.
And they're kind of
But they've
what
been
we
good.
were in the 90s when the Big
Yeah.
East added us.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they can do, but I think they can slip in and be just fine.
Honestly, you just kind of talked me into it because you're right. We need to stay on the life raft until we can go.
No, we
somewhere
do. Like, we don't need to be jumping ship.
Yeah.
Or just going independent.
Yeah.
Like, all 8 schools, I think they made the right decision. Stay together, make Oklahoma and Texas pay you a big fat check before they leave. You make that money, add some teams. TV money won't be as good, although I've heard it might still be better than the ACC's TV money. But you'll still make some money. Now, you have some support for a while. Then you jump ship. I thought it was telling, though, that the two schools that were last to welcome BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston into the conference were, want to take a guess?
I don't know.
Well, Kansas was 1. West Virginia was 2.
Okay.
Coincidentally, and I don't think it's a coincidence, but those are probably the best 2 brands left in the conference. And they're the last ones to welcome the new schools. I mean,
Well, I guess
it's
basketball.
probably nothing, but I think that means that their priorities are elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read the statement from our athletic director, it was basically, we're open for business.
Honestly, that'll help our. Doesn't Cincy and Houston always have a pretty good basketball program too?
Houston's very good in basketball right now. They
Yeah.
just made the Final Four.
Yeah.
Cincy has a good history, although they haven't been down since Mick Cronin left. BYU's been good in basketball before with Jimmer Fredette. I mean, what?
That's where Hugs used to coach, right?
Mm-hmm. UCF is the only one that's like only a football
Yeah.
school, but I think UCF, I'm telling you, I think they're a sleeping giant just in all of athletics.
Yeah.
Huge school, recruiting gold mine, desirable location. Once they get some Big 12 money and start racking in $25-30 million every year, same with Cincinnati. And that's the biggest problem with Cincinnati is their facilities. I've been there; they're terrible unless they've upgraded them.
Yeah.
Once they get some of that Big 12 pie, though, they can upgrade those facilities and make huge improvements. But same with UCF, and they're like new to football.
Yeah.
They only started playing, I think, in the 70s.
Yeah.
And look at the strides that they have made. I feel like UCF is now what our generation's Boise State was. Kinda.
I loved Boise State.
I love Boise State. I firmly believe Boise State should have a seat at the big boy table.
Dude.
I would love it.
Good program. Yeah.
I would love if the Big 12 added Boise. And that's probably next. If Kansas and West Virginia leave, I think they'll add Boise State and Memphis.
They should. They should add Boise. That'd be sick.
Yeah, it really would.
I'd love to play Boise every year.
I would honestly would too. Put us on that blue turf.
Yeah, we sick.
We got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
How's the game going?
Sam Darnold ran one in. Davis Mills is scrambling. And he just got smacked by Brian Burns.
Yikes.
Or no, not Brian Burns, but no. I don't know.
I'll tell you, I've said it before. I really like Carolina. If Sam Darnold can keep playing well.
If Brian Burns can take that step to an elite pass rusher.
Dude, I saw have you seen the clip of him?
Yes.
Embarrassing Ryan Ramczyk last week.
That spin move? Dude,
oh my gosh.
JC Horn looks really, really good
Yep.
too. I like them. You're right.
It's one of those deals where you think or you look back on draft decisions and Green Bay could have had Brian Burns.
Philly too.
And
Dude,
I'm like,
Philly too.
gosh, what that would have been like.
Pick fucking Andre Dillard instead. Wouldn't that be really nice to have Brian Burns instead of Andre Dillard right now, considering we just
at least Green Bay got Rashawn Gary, who's blossomed into a pretty good player, you know. So it's hard to be upset, but I'm like, man, we could have Brian Burns.
I mean, you could do that for every draft.
Right. I just did it the other day when they cut Jay Sternberger, and I said pain on my burner account because the next pick was Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry. Oh, man. All right, I got to go watch this game.
Later, bud.
Later.